Dennis Wrigley Ministries, a better way, unity, renewal and healing.
All over the world, the followers of Jesus Christ are being persecuted today. In country after country, if you are a Christian, your life is tough. It doesn't hit the headlines. It goes largely unreported on television and on radio in the West. But remorselessly, hour by hour, day by day, Christians all over the world are being ruthlessly persecuted. What form does this take? In its extremist form, whole Christian communities are being wiped out. In India, thousands have been burnt out of their homes to rush away into the forest. In other countries, they've been burnt alive. In other countries, they've been buried alive. In other countries, they're deprived of their basic human rights. In some countries, they're not allowed to worship. In some countries, if they convert from another religion, they become second-class citizens. In some countries, when they convert, they have their children taken away from them. In many countries, they are deprived. They're deprived of work. They're deprived of education. They are deprived of a career in the professions for no other reason than the fact that they are followers of Jesus Christ. Does this concern you? Whether you're a Christian or not, does it concern you? Does it concern you that human rights are being infringed today on a huge scale? It's generally agreed that about 250 million Christians today are suffering persecution. It's generally agreed that there have been more martyrs for the Christian faith in the last 100 years than in the previous 19 centuries. It's happening now, yet the truth seems to be hidden from many people. I don't know the reason. Maybe you do. But the fact of the matter is that this is human suffering on a scale which I believe is unprecedented. Now, there are those who say, but there have been religious wars and there have been difficulties with religious persecution over the centuries. To which I would respond, yes, the church is not perfect. There are many things in the history of the church of which we should be ashamed. But the truth of the matter is that the people of God who are getting on with living the lives that they believe God called them to live are now being ruthlessly swept on one side. There is murder, there is torture, there is mob rule. Churches in many parts of Africa have been burnt down. Christian homes have been demolished. Christian businesses destroyed. And it all hinges on a fundamental hatred. Hatred of whom? Hatred of what? Hatred in the human heart, which leads to violence and the expression of ill will. Should we therefore be very angry? And should we seek retribution? Well, I'm angry because it's an injustice. And my God is a God of justice. And therefore I'm prepared to speak out. Are you? When people are forbidden to speak the truth as it is being given to them, on pain of punishment and death. That makes me angry. I hope it's a righteous anger. Jesus himself showed righteous anger when he overturned the money changers' tables. But at the end of the day, he made it clear that his followers would be persecuted. You will be cast out of synagogues, he said. Now, what does this mean today when we hear so much about human rights? Those who are loudest in proclaiming human rights in the West are so often silent when it comes to human rights in the rest of the world. I believe God is saying, I am a God of justice. I'm a God of truth and love. How much do you care for your fellow men? Not just your fellow men and women and just Christians, but fellow men and women, ordinary people of every belief. Are you as sensitive to persecution of other religions? The fact of the matter is that Christians today are the most persecuted group of people on earth. And it's getting worse and worse and worse, day by day. Are we prepared to raise our voices? Are we prepared to pray? Because the lesson I learn from my persecuted brothers and sisters is that they have gone to the cross, and on the cross Jesus said of those who whipped him and scourged him and mocked him and ridiculed him and sought to take his life, he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. All over America, South America, Asia, Africa, and all over the world, we're hearing amazing, inspiring stories of Christians deprived of food because of their belief, of Christians being butchered, and at the same time still forgiving and still loving those who are treating them so badly. I believe there is an amazing lesson for the world to learn. Sooner or later, the truth will be out. We live in an age of martyrdom, and I believe that God is speaking to each one of us. His question is, do you care? Do you care? I believe Christians are called to do more than care. They're called to serve. In the Maranatha community, over the years, we've been deeply involved with the pain of suffering Christians. I myself used to travel Eastern Europe when we were under the oppression of communism. I visited Christians in their prison cells. Yes, we've been there before, over the centuries of oppression, under atheistic communism. And I've met so many people who've come out of concentration camps in North Korea, where they've languished for years and years as Christians, and they haven't been destroyed. They've grown in faith. I believe we've got to get this message right across the world. Maranatha works with all the agencies which speak for persecuted Christians. I would urge you to support them. And if you want any more information, let me know. I'll be most pleased to provide it. My earnest prayer is that you who hear this message will respond. I believe God is waiting. God bless you.
Dennis Wrigley Ministries, a better way, unity, renewal and healing. Thank you for watching.